She doesn't belong here. Send her back to economy. That's what the flight attendant, Brad, barked across first class as I turned to the only black woman in the cabin. No hesitation. No chum. Just cold, public humiliation wrapped in a uniform and a badge. Her boarding pass was valid. Her seat was paid for. But none of that mattered the moment they saw her skin. No one stood up. No voice pushed back. And as she sat there, calm and silent, the entire cabin judged her like she'd broken into a world that wasn't hers. But what they didn't know, what none of them could have imagined, was that the woman they tried to erase held their fates in her hands. Naomi Johnson stepped onto that plane not to prove anything, not to flaunt status, but because she had earned her place. Her presence was deliberate, composed. A cream silk blouse, tailored navy blazer, sharp press slacks, heels that clicked softly, and a jasmine scent that lingered without demanding attention. Seat 2B. First class. Window. She settled in, sighed onto a rare exhale of peace after 4 cities in as many days. A quiet reward. Until Brad arrived. His presence hovered before his voice did. Arms crossed. Chin jutted. The posture of someone who expected compliance before they even asked. Miss, I believe you're in the wrong seat. Naomi blinked. Unbothered. Reach for her pass. This is 2B. Correct? He barely looked. You're probably meant for the back. Coach. It says first class, she replied, calm. Brad didn't check. Just pressed. Let's not make this hard. We have a full flight. Is there something wrong with my ticket? Naomi asked, voice still level. He raised his voice. You're making other passengers uncomfortable. Naomi folded her hands. I'm just sitting in the seat I paid for. The cabin shifted. Someone cleared their throat. Someone else looked away. Nobody intervened. If you refuse, Brad warned, I'll call security. Naomi stayed still. Everything is correct, she said, showing her ID and confirmation. So again, why are you asking me to move? Passengers leaned in, silent spectators in a play written long ago. Brad pressed on, louder now. Enough. You're making this unnecessarily difficult. I have real guests to attend to. Real guests. The words echoed. Naomi's voice was low. I'm not causing a scene. But Brad walked away. Naomi became a problem. A disturbance. Not for what she did, but for who she was. No one spoke. Their silence was loud. Brad returned. Threatened removal. Naomi didn't flinch. Check the manifest, she said. You haven't even looked. I know what I'm seeing, Brad snapped. Another voice rose. Can we get going? Some of us have connections. Brad pointed. You're holding everyone up. If I asked anyone else to move without checking the list, Naomi said, would that still be protocol? He didn't answer. Just said, you don't meet our standards. The cabin didn't gasp. They just didn't care. Naomi sat tall, her silence louder than their judgment. In the galley, Grace, a young attendant, watched, manifest glowing with Naomi's name at 2B. She didn't speak. Naomi asked, what standard don't I meet? Brad had no answer, just louder threats. So you'll remove me without confirmation? Naomi asked. The tension cracked. A child whispered, why is she standing? Naomi stood her ground. Calm. Firm. Call who you need. But do it properly. The chime rang. Final boarding. Brad finally looked. Just a flicker saw her name beside 2B. Still insisted on moving her. Naomi gathered her things. Walked the length of the plane to the last row. Seat 35C. Near the bathroom. Forgotten. Deliberate. She sat straight. Unbroken. Invisible. Refreshments passed her by. Water was offered by another passenger, then taken away by Brad. She's not on a list. Naomi's presence diminished by proximity and prejudice. Yet she stayed calm. Her power wasn't in a title. It was in her restraint. She finally stood. Walked to the service station. I like to speak with the lead. Brad mocked her. You think you're important? Naomi replied, I think professionalism matters. A voice rose behind them. An elderly man in a navy blazer. I've never seen anyone treated like this. Brad stiffened. Naomi acknowledged the man. Gratitude. Grace. Still composed. Then a rustle. A passenger held up a magazine. Wait, isn't that her? The cover, Naomi Johnson, private equity giant, billion-dollar dealmaker, SkyShare acquisition. The cabin erupted in whispers. That's her. She bought into Royal Skies. She owns part of this airline. Recognition dawned. Too late. Grace returned. MS. Johnson. I'm so sorry. Naomi raised a hand. Now you know. Another man stood. If I'd known. Naomi didn't absolve. She didn't explain. The truth didn't need defense. Just visibility. Brad returned, tray trembling. The silence was different now. Not complicit, but shameful. Naomi sat back down. A verdict delivered without a word. Passengers whispered. We treated her like she wasn't anyone. Naomi opened her notebook. Wrote one word. Watch the sky. Brad received a call. Ground control. He stepped to Naomi's row. They've asked me to step down. I was wrong, he said. I was ignorant. Naomi said nothing. Her silence. Final. Grace approached. I should have spoken up. I froze. Others followed. Regret in their voices. Naomi nodded once. Not forgiveness. Recognition. At the gate, a corporate officer waited. Naomi exited the plane in silence. Poised. The next morning, headlines. Viral videos. Stock plummets. Royal Skies in crisis. At a press conference, the CEO spoke. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was failure. Naomi took the stage. This isn't about me. It's about the next black woman asked if she's in the wrong seat. She finished, I don't want special treatment. Just equal footing. She walked off without applause. Later, when asked what she hoped people remembered, Naomi answered that I stayed in my seat. And to the girls who'd sit there next, sit tall, she said. Don't move just because someone tells you you don't belong.